In the United States, prostitution is seen as an unhealthy or obscene act, and therefore have created laws that prosecute those who are involved in prostitution ring in one way or another. A prostitute is a person who sells their body for a profit. I myself was raised in a Christian family with a moral code against selling or degrading your body. If you were a parent, would you want your child born into a country where it's okay to publicly trade your body for cheap money? The act of selling or the use of a person's body for sexual pleasure goes against human dignity, as well as being against the meaning of living in a civilized society. Prostitution violates the right to enjoy the highest standard of physical and mental health for reasons such as violence, unwanted pregnancies, unwanted abortions, higher risk of STDs, and an unhealthy sense of our relationship with our own bodies. A major problem with the legalization of prostitution, with a wide range of health and safety concerns, is an economical change. Mary Sullivan, PhD and author of What Happens When Prostitution Becomes Work, wrote that together with STDs, verbal abuse, battering, sexual harassment, rape, and unwanted pregnancies are within the prostitution industry. And that does not change because prostitution is legalized. Once prostitution is legalized, this behavior seems to appear not as cruel or not quite seen as criminal behavior, making it even more difficult to lock out the bad people that are actually executing the inhumane behaviors toward another. Because the sex industries are more legitimized under legalization, according to SAGE, Standing Against Global Exploitation, there's no basic presumption that buying or selling someone else's body is a crime, and therefore burden on victims of violence prove that they're experiencing harm and exploitation is increased. And yes, there may be nicer pimps who make sure to keep their employees healthy and safe, but the vast majority are merely there for a profit. Women and prostitutes who experience being hunted, they experience being dominated, harassed, assaulted, and battered. Not only do we have all these safety regulations to worry about, let's also not forget about the morality of the great country that we live in. Prostitution as an institution is evil. It shouldn't matter if it may actually be the world's oldest profession, it's still wrong. Dorn Shuckley, director of Pittsburgh Coalition Against Pornography, says it's not the people that are immoral, but the system. These people caught up in these sex businesses are generally trapped by unfortunate circumstances in their lives. Legalizing prostitution is not a compassionate take for humans, it's a lazy one. We should be focused on eradicating the business and helping these tortured souls find a better life. We, as a society, should respect our body and appreciate the power of our minds. We don't need to sell our bodies for profit. Every human ever born is so much more special than we appear, and we're all better than we think we are. It's time to start remembering that. Not only that, but don't you want your children to know they're worth more than what they look like? I know I don't. Our children are already so desensitized to so much in our world, thanks to the internet, we must keep some things in the closet until our children are of our age. Sex should be something that comes with genuine love, not money. Love can't be bought. That's why sex is priceless. We must love ourselves as well as loving each other. That's the only way, as a society, we can grow. Even with all these negatives, are the economic benefits worth prostitution? My answer is no. Even if you're making more money than a top CEO in the country, prostitution can never be a legitimate business. A legitimate business shouldn't have to worry about always being associated with crime, corruption, class, and mass exploitation, including human trafficking. It's wrong to accept that one person buying another for pleasure is legitimate. How is human trafficking any worse? Donna Hughes, PhD, a professor who wrote Legalization Will Legitimize the Abuse, says prostitution only allows criminals and members of organized crime rings to become legitimate businessmen and work hand in hand with the state in how marketing changes women and sometimes men's bodies. Another problem with making this business legal for pimps is that many women wouldn't want to be seen as a legal prostitute under the control of a boss. They would be trying to illegally run a street ring prostitution themselves, and probably because they don't want to submit to health and safety regulations, which only raises the percentages of STDs, abuse, unwanted pregnancies, etc. This could also lead to more child prostitution on the streets, and if that doesn't change your mind on the topic, I don't know what will. In Victoria, Australia, where prostitution is legal, the child prostitution rate has increased dramatically. At the end of the day, if people are allowed to become a commodity, that means that we're okay with becoming second-class citizens. Our country is not made up of second-class citizens. We're the best citizens in the world, and we need to act like it. We have now discussed many negative aspects to legalizing prostitution, such as increased child prostitution, higher STD rate countrywide, more unsafe pregnancies, abortions, and let's not forget about how quickly the sex industry would raise in areas such as marketing of bodies and technology. Prostitution is obscene, unsafe, and unnecessary. When we let pimps become businessmen, we ease up on criminal activity as a society. Our society is bad enough as it is. We need to be focused on cleaning the streets up more than ever, and prostitution is still illegal. I hope you've listened to my stance on prostitution, and at the end of the day, I hope you've learned a little more from what I had to say. My name is Taylor Crupton, and thank you for your time.